Hello, hello! Welcome to the stream. We've got a couple of eyeballs. As always, I don't know who's there if you don't say something in chat, so please say something. You will also get a sweet little character on our stream overlay, which I'm going to fidget with for a moment here. Let me figure out how I'm getting this. Alright. So this stream overlay, ooh, who just joined us? Gauntlet? Hello, Gauntlet. Welcome to the stream. You got a really sweet character. You're like an orc dude with what kind of looks like a pretty plain shirt, but then like a mustache. Looking good, man. Looking good. So this stream overlay, we created in Godot. It's a Godot game that we built on stream some weeks ago. Let me get it into actual overlay mode. So if you want to, the source code is available on GitLab. You can use it on your own streams. Of course, you'll have to modify it a bit. Let me press the buttons here. How's everyone doing? Tana Tux? What's with all the... We're getting like some really sweet-looking old men this time. Let me turn on this. You guys will have to let me know if the stream overlay is working correctly. But anyway, how are you guys doing? How are your projects going? I'd love to hear an update on what everyone is working on your personal game dev projects. We've got a couple of folks whose names I don't recognize. Gauntlet and Tanatux, welcome. While I am waiting to hear about your projects and what you guys are working on, let me just give a quick overview of what this project is that we're going to be working on stream for anyone who is new either to the stream or is watching the video later. We are... Okay, let me back up. Some weeks ago, we started working on rollback and prediction based netcode for my game Retro Tank Party, which is like a 2 to 4 player online party game thing. It uses kind of like naive network synchronization. We have been converting it to much more sophisticated rollback and prediction synchronization as used by competitive fighting games like with the GGPO library. And we built all the netcode, pretty much, the core of it and all of the important things to get the game working. We haven't fully ported the game over to the new netcode, but one of the requirements for this type of network synchronization is that you need deterministic physics. So the last bunch of weeks, we've been creating our own deterministic network physics engine in C++ for Godot. And yeah, it's really coming together. I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel here. Welcome, Fedzil Manzor. Beginning in Godot without knowledge in programming language. Can you use Godot? Yes. Yes, you can. So I guess I have to look back at what everyone else said. I don't know why I jumped on your comment right away, but Godot is a really great game engine for beginners, and it also can get very deep. The deeper you get into it, you can find some really advanced functionality. So it's a great place to start with a nice kind of on-ramp that can keep going deeper, even to the point where you can create professional games. I don't know if you guys heard about that Sonic Colors game. Apparently is built using the Godot game engine. Some folks like dug into it, and so there's like a AAA example of a game built in Godot. But as far as like programming knowledge, the sort of preferred language of coding in Godot is GDScript, although there's a whole bunch of different supported programming languages, including C# and C++, like we're using for this physics engine, although today I think we'll probably be working mostly in GDScript. And then there's also VisualScript, which is a scripting language that allows you to code up your game logic without actually writing code by just connecting these different blocks together. I don't have a lot of experience with it since I'm coming at it from being primarily a programmer. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to get in there and get started. And I think, you know, even if you've never done programming before, picking up enough programming to do GDScript is totally doable. Gauntlet says, doing fine, how are you? I'm doing all right also. I'm very tired though. I've stayed up really, really late working on physics. I've been experimenting with Unity and Unreal Engine recently, but still keeping up on Godot. Awesome. You know, I skew very hard towards open source. I try to use open source technologies like anytime I can. So I have actually never used Unity or Unreal. And I'd be very curious to know, like, your experience having used all three, like, kind of your thoughts on Godot from that perspective, if you don't mind sharing. Ricardo is saying, I'm trying some procedural character movement animation in 3D in Godot. Really cool. Yeah, procedural animation, when it done right, looks so sweet. Did you guys see that webbed game that was just launched? I think they're doing procedural animation because the animation looks amazing. Let me bring that up so we can talk about it. Having seen it, this is not 3D. This is 2D. But like here, let me make it big, and I'm sure this is going to look so choppy playing on Steam and then streamed over in whatever frame rate we've got. But this little spider guy is swinging around doing stuff, and I believe that the spider's animations with all of his legs are procedural, and it looks beautiful, like seriously beautiful. Hey Leonardo, welcome to the stream. Hey Elliot. Elliot says GDScript is very approachable. It really is. A lot of people say that like Python is the perfect beginner language because it's got this simplified syntax and like you can deal with typing or not deal with typing and all this stuff. And GDScript is not the same as Python, but it has a lot of similarities. And I think the things that make Python easy to learn also apply to GDScript. So it's a great place to start. Ricardo says, nice. I'm assuming about the, oh, are you seeing the skateboarding part now? He's swimming. This game looks really cool. Did I buy it yet? I have a problem, a serious like game buying problem. I don't play that many games because for me at least, game development and playing games are kind of mutually exclusive. I only have like a little bit of free time, and if I'm gonna spend it playing games, that means I'm not spending it making games. And if I'm spending it making games, that means I'm not playing games. So like I buy a ton of games and don't ever play them. So I'll probably buy this one and never play it too. But it looks awesome. Aknakos, hey Aknakos! I'll say yay here too so that my character has the correct nickname. Oh, because you're rocking out in 2 places? So, all right, where's Aknakos on here? Oh, there he is. I see you. You're like got sort of like a serf, not, you know, like a peasant. That's a better word. A peasant sort of clothing with a mohawk. I love it. I'm just going to take a look at some of the other characters. Leonardo got an orc with long white hair and a shield. White hair seems to be like the theme of the day. Oh, Aknakos is Leonardo. Ha! I did not know your real world name. Now I do. Awesome. Whoa, Elliot has got a white braid coming down and a white beard. Wow. Like really, how many people are not old men? Vidzil Manzor looks like, you know, he's a younger version of some of these older men. He kind of looks like a mountain man living in the forest with the long dark hair. We got so many old men with the white beards. I think me, Gauntlet, and Vidzil Manzor are the only people, or maybe Aknakos, like that. I mean, it could be an old man mohawk. I don't know. Old men have mohawks sometimes. I don't know. All right, so thanks everyone for coming. I think this is going to be a good stream. Ooh, let me catch up on chat here for a second. Gauntlet, I experimented with several game engines. I like to see the implementations, pros and cons in each. Since I'm not a seasoned coder, I'm looking for the easiest way to create. Oh, cool. So I mean, you'll have to say, but I think Unreal, like people say blueprints are really approachable. I imagine that's probably easy for a creator. Although if you want to do anything advanced, then you're jumping into C++, which is less approachable than, you know, GDScript would be. Elliot says, perfect avatar for me. I have to look at it while I'm thinking this. Yes, that is a perfect avatar for you. That's what Manzor says. Do you have any advice for a newbie like me? Where should I start to make a game in Godot? Should I learn Python first or jump straight into GDScript? Thanks in advance. So, I mean, you could learn Python first. If you've never programmed before, being a beginner in 2 languages is bound to confuse you. I would say jump into GDScript first. There are some really great tutorials. Oh my God, this is my lack of sleep messing with me. What is his name? The guy making demon something. I'm gonna go on my YouTube and look at my subscriptions. I can't believe I can't remember his name. I just like blanking on it right now, but I watch like every video he makes and he's awesome. And he's got this great tutorial about making a 2D action game, like a sort of like a Zelda style action game. Jesus, what is it? We'll just search for the tutorial. RPG, Godot, 2D, action. Yes, Heart Beast. Heartbeast. Heartbeast has some fantastic tutorials on YouTube, and I particularly think his action RPG series is a great getting started tutorial. Oh, there we go. Aknaskos thought of it probably before me because you're watching the video 20 seconds after I'm doing it. We have this time warp we exist in. So how can I sneak this into chat? It's going to freeze up the overlay, but let me drop the link. Hopefully YouTube or wherever you're watching from, I didn't actually pay attention, will let that through. Ooh, and it looks horrendous in the overlay. But I think this action RPG tutorial is a great getting started with Godot thing. It covers really a lot of Godot-ishness, although it's probably not the best if you've never done programming. If you've done a little bit of programming, even at a rudimentary level, like this would probably be perfect. You might want to start maybe with GDQuest. GDQuest has some great tutorials, and I think they have some like you're just learning to program and here's Godot type tutorials. GDQuest, learn programming with Godot. For script, intro to GDScript for programming beginners. This is an older one. I swear they have a new series that was this year or last year, not 2019. Yeah, wait, Code with Tom. Code with Tom is also good. I collaborated with Tom a little bit on the Fish Game project. He was also hired by Heroic Labs to make the Unity version of Fish Game. I was hired to make the Godot version of Fish Game. But I haven't seen this, GDScript and Programming for Beginners with Godot, but I know that Code with Tom, a great guy, makes great tutorials. So anyway, that's a couple of places to start. Check out GDQuest, check out this Code with Tom one. There's a ton of wonderful resources, and if you need any help, join the Discord, come hang out. I'm happy to help. All right. Let's see what else I missed here. There's a small channel called Stupid Game Experiments with some interesting comparisons between Unity, Unreal, and Godot. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Stupid Game Experiments. That sounds cool. Who thumbs up the okay, Aknakos also is thumbs upping the Heartbeast. I follow Heartbeast, got me off the ground with a platformer template. Cool. Gauntlet also says they have links to the network of game devs, so you follow and you can find links to their channel homepage. Yeah, so Heartbeast also did this video maybe 6 months, 9 months ago, I can't remember, where he listed all of his favorite Godot channels, and he included me. Yay! But there's a lot of really good ones in there too, so if you can dig up that video on Heartbeast's channel, there's some really great suggestions of other Godot people to follow. Because yeah, it's a great community with like enough people doing cool things that you can find cool stuff, but it's small enough that kind of like it's, you know, everyone kind of is connected and knows each other and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I already gave my overview of the project that we're working on today. Yeah, so I've done a ton of work on it since last time. Last time we were taking our deterministic network physics engine and starting to actually integrate it into the game. Let me make sure this is going to start up the editor. Yes, looks like. And we got through putting the our version of static bodies on all of the obstacles in the levels and converting the levels to all use, you know, the new stuff, and it worked. That was awesome. Except for the maze level. There was some issue there. It was crazy slow, and the collisions weren't kind of lining up where we were seeing the obstacles in the map. And I fixed that, although I haven't tested it since like Friday. So here, let's test it really quick. All right. Well, I need to actually start up 2 to have a network game. I think I will. All right, let's go to battle. Do a quick little match. We'll use matchmaking. Ooh, I need to use our custom compiled Godot here. Godot. Okay. There is no way to test the different maps without actually going into a online 2-player match. That's what we have to do really quick. I should add some more debugging tools for myself. So let's go to the maze map, and hopefully this still works. It'll be funny if it broke in the meantime. But yeah, so here I'm driving around, and I'm actually colliding into the sandbags where I should. So cool. That is back working. It also is not insanely slow either. That's really cool. So last time, this was like unplayably slow, which was sort of expected because our physics engine does not yet have a broad phase. And so I was expecting this map, which has like, I don't know, 200 trees on it, to run really slow, because without a broad phase, every collision is done where we say, okay, I moved the tank. Now, what is the tank colliding with? And it has to actually loop through every single collision body on the map to say, does it collide with the tank? No. Does it collide with the tank? No. So all 200 trees. A broad phase breaks up the space into like a grid. That's one way to do it. Another way is with different kinds of trees, a quad tree being popular. But anyway, it breaks up the space so that you only test collisions against bodies that are near each other, which I'm going to implement soon. That's like the last big feature to get in there. But anyway, so I'm happy that it's oddly working fast now. Less optimizing. Also, the bullets weren't colliding with the environment because the bullets were still using the Godot's built-in physics engine, and I made it do that now. The bullets are partially converted. They are colliding with the environment. They're still not colliding with these drop crates, which I started looking at, and that sent me down a different path, which I'm gonna show you now. So I was looking at the drop crates. Let me open up the scene with the drop crates. Drop crate. And look at the shape of this thing. So previously we had only implemented two collision shapes, a rectangle and a circle. And I could not contort a rectangle to fit this. I tried like, okay, if I have two rectangles and I sort of skew them and lay them sideways, and I just couldn't do it. And I wasn't planning on implementing polygons because, I mean, that sounded like a lot of work. And I just kind of want to implement the minimum physics engine necessary to make this game work. And then afterwards, you know, I'm going to put the physics engine in its own project and put it on the Godot asset store, and like it'll be open source. And maybe at that point, like we can expand it to do some more things, because there'll be hopefully maybe ideally a community who might be interested in adding more features to it. But I did end up biting the bullet and adding polygons. So that's the next big thing I added that I want to show you guys. So we have our own SG collision polygon 2D node, and it works basically the same as the built-in Godot version. It's I had to make another little editor plugin to allow you to like place these points, but it was really easy because there's kind of like a parent class that you can inherit from anytime you want to have a editor tool that does polygons. So I had to do practically nothing. It's super simple. Yeah, so we have polygons. It only supports convex polygons, and that is because the collision detection algorithm that I'm using for most things, not circles in some cases, because circles are special and you can do some faster things with circles, is SAT testing. SAT is separating axis theorem, which is a really cool technique, which I don't think I've talked about on stream. Are you guys interested in like a rundown of what separating axis theorem is? Because it's cool. You won't ever need it unless you're implementing your own collision detection. And if you're using just Godot's built-in physics engine, or you know, the one that I'm building here at some point, if that seems like something you might need, you won't have to know separating axis theorem because it'll just do it for you. Godot's physics engine also does the same separating axis theorem. So, oh, some more stuff going on in chat. Let me just quick check out what we got here. Gauntlet, for me, there's an advantage to look into visual scripting for a beginning coder, if not only to visualize the process of coding. If you go back and forth, you can see the comparisons. Yeah, I mean, take a look at visual coding. This reminds me of the Kids Can Code Tank Battle tutorial. Yeah, so I'm using the same asset pack as the Kids Can Code tutorial used, and that has created some like drama. Did you guys, people who've been like on my Discord for a while will remember someone like put this crazy Steam review on my game, essentially alleging that I had stolen it from Kids Can't Code, which I didn't do. I used the same asset pack. I did not see the Kids Can Code tutorial until after started working on this project. Someone on YouTube pointed it out to me, and it's a great tutorial. I've since watched it. It's fantastic. But I did not use it. And where's the guy? Obey the fist. Yeah. Retro Tank Party is a Unity asset flipper, what Valve calls a fake game. The developer ripped off a free online game tutorial. The Godot 3.0 top-down tank battle game tutorial from an actual game developer and tutors Kids Can Code. So there's a little bit of drama involving that. But yeah, just the same asset pack. Anyway, what was I doing? I was going through here. Elliot says there's no math, right? Yeah, it's Kenny and L's assets for that tank asset pack. I use Kenny's stuff in pretty much every game I make. Oh no, Knockos is stuck at the top of the screen. Speaking of collision detection, we got to fix that bug. So anyway, is anyone interested in an explanation of separating Axis Theorem? If not, that's cool. But if anyone, okay, so Knockos and Arburing are saying yes. Okay, that was in response to that. The delay makes this a little confusing in the fact that I don't check right away. Okay, so Knockos, Arburing, and possibly Elliot, who doesn't want to do math. Okay, so separating Axis Theorem is actually pretty simple. It can detect collisions, not color. I click on that thing because I'm like, I want the blank one. Okay, so, all right, there we go. So separating Axis Theorem can detect collisions between any arbitrary convex polygons, and it is pretty clever. So let's draw a convex polygon. We'll do like an oriented rectangle. It's supposed to be a rectangle. That was a bad rectangle. Let me try that again. I'll draw it smaller so I can do straighter lines. Okay. And let's draw, okay, first let's do the non-colliding case. We'll do 2 rectangles. All right. So basically the way this works is you take a bunch of axes, you project both shapes onto those axes, and if there's any axes where they are not overlapping, if there's any separating axis, since, hence the name separating Axis Theorem, then they do not overlap. And the axes that you take are the normals of the sides of the polygons. So anyone who doesn't know what a normal is, it's a vector that points away from each of the faces. And normals are used a ton in games. They're used for when you're bouncing something, you make the bounce calculation based on the motion vector combined with the normal vector, and they're used for lighting too. Like if you were doing lighting, you'd say like, here's the light and it's pointing here, and we're going to use the angle between the angle to the light, the angle between the lights vector and the normal vector is used to decide like how much to shade something, right? So normal vectors are used a ton. So you take the normal vectors for all of the sides. Since these are rectangles, we only have to do 2 because 2 of their sides are parallel. So here we go. Here's all the normal vectors, and we project the shape onto these axes. So let's take one axis as an example. We'll take just this axis. So here is like this 1D space that this axis exists on, and you do the dot product of you do the dot product, I guess, of the vertices when you're doing like just a straight up polygon. So dot product allows you to say like, take this point and project it onto this 1D space. So we take all of the vertices for this one polygon and we project it onto this axis over here, which would look maybe something like that. You can kind of think of projection as being, if there was a light, here let's erase our other light that I put here just for demonstration purposes. Let's imagine that there is, just want to draw. Imagine there's a light over here, and the shadow of this object on this axis is its projection, right? So we've projected each of the vertices, and we can say in 2D space, this rectangle takes up this interval, or in 1D space. Did I say 2D space? We're projecting from 2D space to 1D space. And we do the same for the other shape. So this other shape is easier to do because it is not rotated. but we would project this onto that same axis. So all of those vertices would be projected to be basically from here through to here. And we say, does it overlap? Yes, it overlaps. It overlaps in this space right here, right? So there is overlap, so we keep going. We check the next axis. And we keep going until we find any axis that separates the two shapes. And because we are humans, we can look at this and see the axis of separation, which is this one. So we'll do that one real quick. I'm going to kind of move this out of the way so we have some more space. Try to keep it vaguely lined up. Let's take the axis that we know they are separating on, which is this one. So I'm basically drawing this bottom line here, but or no, I'm sorry, this one. I'm thinking of it because it's this face. So this is the actual this is the actual axis. I'm going to try and draw a line that's like this, which is basically the same as the top or bottom line down here to show what we're projecting onto. Okay. I apologize for these lines not being anywhere near straight. Okay. And so then we are projecting. Again, we will use this light metaphor. We'll put our light up here. And we're projecting each of these shapes individually, like one at a time. Like this shape in real life would block the other shape, but ignore that. just consider each shape separately. So first we'll do this shape. We project this onto here, which will do kind of each of the vertices. I think like, there would be this one and this one would be a little bit over. This one projected down here is like that. This one maybe just a little bit to its left. So here is that one, the rotated rectangle projected onto this axis. And then we project also, wait, I'm doing the wrong axis. This one is overlapping too. Sorry, guys. This is what I get for doing an impromptu explanation of a math topic. I didn't plan this in advance. Okay, so I was wrong about it being this axis. It is actually this axis of separation, right? Because we see they're separated over here. So again, I'm going to attempt to draw this normal vector as a axis over here. All right. And we're going to delete this light. There isn't really a light, but we are imagining a light because that is how we are thinking about projection, which math terms is really just the dot product, but I kind of like the geometric metaphor. It makes it easier for me personally to understand. Okay, so we're projecting this shape onto this axis. First, the oriented one, which comes out to be this interval from here to here, and then we project this second shape onto there, which would be something like this. Go straight through here to there. So we have these two intervals. When projected onto this axis, we can see that there is a separation. There is at least one axis separating the two shapes, therefore they don't overlap. Whew. Does that make sense? I hope my explanation wasn't totally terrible. But the great thing about this particular technique, because there are other techniques, there's a ton of different techniques for checking if two rectangles overlap. But the nice thing about this technique is it works for any polygon that is convex, no matter how many sides it has. So you could do the exact same algorithm if you had, a hexagon, or that's the worst hexagon ever, or if you have any like arbitrary shape that we just draw, and that's how polygons are implemented in the physics engine that we are building. I can show you the code. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's easier to look at the code in our physics engine than it is to look at the same code in Godot, because ours is younger and has way less features, and so I was able to kind of write it very very explicitly. Of course, Godot's is better, right? It supports more shapes, more edge cases. I'm sure it's faster, but mine is easier to look at. Let's go find it. So we have this collision detection class. So here we go. We have the code that's getting the intervals. Ignore circles for a moment because circles are special. But this is what's used for any polygon. It grabs all of the vertices, starts by saying, well, whatever, the dot product of the first one is both the min and the max, and then it loops over all the other vertices, doing the dot product, which again is doing projection, like we're just showing with the light and shadow metaphor. and takes the smallest value as the min, the largest value as the max, and that's how it gets that one-dimensional min-max interval for a particular shape and axis, right? And then we have our this other overlaps on axis, which takes two shapes and the axis that we're looking at, gets the interval for both of them, and then just checks if they overlap. And it's checking using a subtraction. This could also have been done like with, just saying, is I1 max greater than I2 min, and is I2 max greater than I1 min. But I did them as subtraction because we can use those values to calculate the separation between the two objects, and then we can use the separation to calculate the collision vector, which we need for doing move and slide and bouncing and all of that stuff. Anyway, so that's the sort of next layer up. We're doing the overlaps on axis, and then here's the actual SAT test, SAT for separating axis theorem test, where we take two shapes, a list of axes, and yeah, this is like a secondary return value, the best separation vector, which, like I said, is used to calculate the normal vector. So anyway, we loop over every axis on the list, and if we find any axis where there's separation, we return false. If we and if we find that they overlap, then yeah, we grab the separation vector, and we're looking at each separation vector to find the smallest one, because that's the one that we're going to use for the collision normal, because we want it to be like the first point where the shapes overlap. And that's really it. Like when we get to rectangle overlaps rectangle, we're saying, okay, get all of the axes for the first rectangle, do a SAT test on all of them, and then grab all the axes for the second rectangle and do a SAT test on both of them. And it's super simple. If like we find any axis of separation, return false. It didn't happen. So that's another thing that's nice about the separating axis theorem, is that it bails early. Like if objects aren't anywhere near each other, then the first axis you check will have separation, will be an axis of separation, and you could discard it right away. So for objects that overlap, you have to check every axis. But for objects that don't overlap, you only have to check enough until you get an axis of separation. So in the most common case, objects not overlapping, it will be very fast, right? And circles are weird, so let's not think about circles right now. Oh, whew. So yeah, let me look at chat. I want to see if my explanation's making any sense. Knuckles is checking out the title bar. That's why it's floating up there. Oh no! Tanatux is hovering up there now too. Everyone's gonna be stuck up there. Ricardo says, makes sense. It's a pretty cool theorem. Yeah, it is a cool theorem. It took me a while to get a handle on it because I'm not that great at math. But then now that I've sort of spent this much time with it, it seems really simple and really, really approachable. I'm thinking about making a YouTube video, not a stream, just a straight up YouTube video explaining it. But I have to believe that there's other better videos out there already. I don't know, maybe because I'm excited about it right now. I'll go do that. Anyway, so we have polygons now. That's the bottom line here. Oh, and one last thing I did since last time is, let's go to our test scene. I guess I'll save this since I did just create the polygon for this shape. We will be using it soon. In our physics test scene, I have almost implemented all of raycasts. So I have it set up so that when the ray crosses any shape, it'll turn the tank red. And for whatever reason, and this is of course entirely under my control, the ray isn't counted as colliding until like the part below the triangle on top collides. So that's why when the triangle is in there, it doesn't count as a collision. The ray is actually the length to the base of the triangle. But yeah, so I have it working with polygons, I guess. Rectangles are just a kind of polygon, right? So I have it working with rectangles and these kind of arbitrary polygons. I do not have it yet working with circles. So you can see I go in here and the circle does not work because I have to use a different algorithm for checking raycasts to circles. For these ones, it's actually, I mean, it's not entirely dissimilar to SAT, to separating axis theorem. Anyway, I think going through one pile of math is good enough for today, but that's what I was doing staying up so late last night. I was doing the raycast detection, which has another pretty clever algorithm. It's I guess less approachable than separating axis theorem. And that kind of goes for the circle too. I have an algorithm all picked out, an explanation on Stack Exchange that I'm going to turn into code later. But I don't know. So that's all the stuff that I did. That's all the stuff that I did since last time. And this time, here's what I was thinking. And you guys tell me if this sounds good to you. I was thinking that we would get out of the physics engine and focus on stuff in the Godot editor, in the normal Godot engine, converting more gameplay to use the physics engine. The other option is that we could, on stream, if this was interesting to you guys, actually implement the math for rays intersecting circles. I say segment here because our rays are actually technically line segments. Rays go on forever. Our line segments actually end, which is good. It would be a lot more work, a lot more math, a lot more intensive for our game engine, which needs to be fast if we were doing real rays. Anyway, so I was thinking we'd do gameplay code over here, which means converting from Godot's built-in physics engine to our physics engine, probably messing around with some GDScript, starting with those drop crates, making it so that when you shoot the drop crate, it opens up, you get the power-up, converting the power-ups so that when you drive over them, your tank actually gets, the new weapon or whatever. We could start working on weapons, converting those to the new physics engine. Or alternatively, if you guys were in like a really mathy mood, we could finish raycasts. We could make it so, oh, I thought I was still in the game, I'm just in the editor. We could make it so raycasts do actually detect collisions with circles. Hey, Federico, welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming. Federico's working on some online multiplayer game with Nakama. He's always hanging out on the Discord. I invite anyone else who is not on the Discord to come hang out on the Discord. But yeah, I am sensing perhaps that you guys are not so into math this morning. That's fine with me. My brain is not operating at top performance. Let me check. I wear a Fitbit that has like sleep tracking. It like watches my heart rate and will tell me how many hours I slept. I'll check the app on my phone. Let's see, how many hours did I sleep last night? The Fitbit says that I slept for 3 hours and 33 minutes, if you can see that. So 3 hours and 33 minutes is probably not enough for doing heavy math stuff, I think. But yeah, let's dig into it then. Enough chatting, although that's not true. There's always time for chatting. Let me know, guys, if you have any questions or any thoughts or anything that occurs to you that you want to share. I'm super happy to chat, but let's get started working on the game. So, like I said, I wanted to start with the drop crates, and I added the shape. So we now have a new SG collision polygon 2D, which is basically the same. Here you can see the difference between the built-in Godot one and our custom one, but this is still an area 2D. We need to change it to a SG area 2D, and I'm just sort of looking around at the properties to see if there's anything we need to copy. I don't think so. I'm going to right-click, change type, to SG area 2D, and now our collision polygon is unhappy because it wants to be inside of an area 2D, so we're going to delete that. I'm going to move this up into the same spot that it was and rename it to take its name. Let's go look in the script and see what it's doing. Oh, so it's a static body 2D. Why did I make it into an area 2D? That was the wrong choice. Okay, it's not meant to be an area 2D. Let's change type again to a static body. I don't know why I thought it was an area. Static body 2D. And let's go look at its code. First thing we need to change up here is that it is an SG static body 2D. Change the class. Loads up some twigs. Animation player for glowing. Take some damage. Oh, and this RPC to open the crate. We'll have to eliminate that at some point. This is still netcode from the before we started converting it to rollback and prediction, where we won't want to do this. We will want to just straight away open the crate. Maybe let's just do that right now. Let's just call directly to open crate, and we will remove the remote sync from here. So that will be better for our rollback and prediction. That does remind me though that we'll need to be able to roll this back. So we need to implement the other things that that need to happen to allow this to roll back, which is basically, so are we despawning ourselves? We are despawning ourselves. We are calling queue_free, which means we need to spawn the power up differently. Okay, let's maybe not think about this too quickly. We'll make that one little change. We'll get the physics part of it working, and we'll come back and look at the network part of it after. So let's just see if shooting this drop crate will make it actually explode here. So let's go back to the game. Oh, I'm running the scene. I've gotten too used to running our test scene. I need to run the whole game. All right, we can do this in practice, actually. We have to wait 30 seconds for the crate to spawn. I should maybe change that timer to be like not 30 seconds, to be quicker. But I guess I was going to take this opportunity to look at chat, but nobody's chatting. Oh, I see Fidzil joined the Discord. Awesome. Oh, and a crate has spawned. Okay, so let's shoot it. Nope. All right, what happened there? So we changed it to the right types and everything. I guess the bullet, something is going to call this take damage, and that's going to open the crate. So let's figure out which bit of code calls take damage. I'm just going to like grep through the source code here. I want to make this huge. Let's grep for take damage, and we will see where that is used. Unfortunately, because this also now includes our C++ code. Okay, here we go. So tanks do something special. Tanks are totally special. Drop crate, base bullet. So base bullet, the base bullet GD script is calling take damage, and that's what's going to kick all of this off. So let's head over to base bullet. I'm not entirely sure where that is. Maybe I have it opened up here. I do, base bullet. Okay, so it's an SG area 2D. So we're, okay. On bullet collision is called by check collision, which is calling get overlapping bodies. This get overlapping bodies goes into our physics engine. Then we call on bullet collision, which checks this can hit. Okay, we'll have to make sure that that works. And the take damage method. Let's set a breakpoint here and see if this method's even getting called. No. So that leads me to believe that get overlapping bodies is returning nothing. Or what is calling check collision? Hang on. Check collision. Let's make sure this is getting called. Oh, okay, network process is calling check collision. That should be getting called. Yeah, that's going to get called every frame. It's not worth. Okay, so get overlapping bodies is not getting called. That's the thing. So let's start at the top here. We are going to make sure that our collision layers and masks line up. So drop crate. Oh, actually, hey, we couldn't even drive into the drop crates before. Before we start looking at bullets, let's just make sure we can't even drive into them. Okay, something even more fundamental is going on. So those are SG static body 2Ds, which means that we should be able to just drive straight into them. What is going on here? Drop crate is an SG static body 2D. This is a collision polygon 2D. That all seems right. You guys seeing what might be wrong here? It's not disabled. We might have to set some breakpoints on the C++ side, but I don't see why this isn't working, because, like, this is using stuff that we've already been testing. Okay, well, just to check the layers. Okay, so layer 1 is environment. It collides with players and bullets, so that should totally work for our player. Because we're colliding into trees, right? Now we're colliding into trees. This is also an SG static body. Let's just like throw a not polygon on there. I don't see why it would make a difference though. Let's just try it though. SG collision shape 2D. We'll throw a rectangle on and just see. You know, and also, like I was saying before, we have to wait 30 seconds or 20 seconds or something for them to spawn. Let's just quick change that that code to have them spawn much quicker. Drop timer 20 seconds. We'll have them spawn after 2 seconds. We'll hopefully remember to change that back before we commit the code. So we'll practice. We'll go up. We'll shoot it. We'll drive into it. Nothing. Nothing. So the drop crate spawn area is still using, you know, Godot physics objects, but it's fine because it's not really doing any physics. We will have to change it because it's using floating point math. We have to use only fixed point math to ensure that our everything is deterministic as required by rollback and prediction. Why on earth is this drop crate not working? Disabled is not on. The polygon, as far as I can tell, is convex. It didn't, I mean, that shouldn't matter either though, because we did set rectangle. Oh, Ricardo, great idea. Maybe drop a crate into the physics test scene. Oh, and I missed some other comments. Gauntlet says, I read that Steam review. It appears the person did not understand free assets. You didn't copy, but you did. But if you did, the author is teaching people how to make a project from his tutorial. Yeah, actually, the Kids Can Code guy, because I posted this on Twitter, responded and said, like, yeah, if you copied the tutorial and put it on as a game on Steam, I'd be happy about that. But I didn't anyway. I started from the same asset pack from scratch. Ooh, and you liked my reply. Thank you. But yeah, let's do Ricardo's idea. Let's drop a drop crate onto the physics test scene. We're eliminating some variables here. We did that with the trees too. I think that was also your idea, Ricardo. And it is a good idea this time too. So drop crate. Let's bring it into view, maybe down here. And let's see. When it's glowing and everything. Ah, it works here. Interesting. I've got it. I've got it. Okay. Thank you, Ricardo, for making me do this because it made me realize what's going on here. So what is going on here, I think, is that the drop crate is a child of the drop crate spawn area. So remember I was saying like, oh, we'll turn this into fixed point later. We need to turn it into fixed point now. And the reason for that is we have this separate like node 2D. Let me just open up here so I can kind of show you. We have SG fixed node 2D, which is the parent of all of our other objects from our special physics engine module. And you know how nodes like inherit position from their parents? Fixed node 2Ds only inherit position from their fixed node 2D parents. because if they inherited their position from one of their floating point parents, it would again break determinism. So we have to make sure that all of the parents of any fixed node 2D that moves around, that isn't just positioned at the origin at 0, 0, needs to also be an SG fixed node 2D of some type. So that's totally the issue. Let's, I mean, I think it is. I shouldn't make statements like that's totally the issue before testing it, because that is a recipe for embarrassment and disaster. But yeah, let's convert this drop crate spawn area. We'll do change type to SG area 2D, and we will need to also convert the collision shape. Let's look at its sizes so we can copy them exactly. Not that it matters that much, but I like to do that. So do an SG collision shape 2D. That is our version of collision shape 2D. We'll make a rectangle. And what were those values? It was 245 by 226. So in fixed point, 245 is that massive number, and 226 is that massive number. So okay, the shapes overlap perfectly. We can delete the original. We'll rename this one to just collision shape 2D, because I like maintaining the names, particularly because there might be scripts that depend on those names. And we also need to come over here and look at the script. Ooh, and this is doing some fanciness. This is doing some fanciness to spawn the drop crate, which we will also have to replace with some stuff from our physics engine. I think the fanciness is looking for a free space. And it's using this free space detector class that I made, which used the Godot physics engine to find free space. And it's a pain. It's totally a pain. Like, let me show you this. It's a pain because of the way the Godot built-in physics engine works, which will actually be easier for us with our custom physics engine. But can we just let this do this? No, we can't. We can't. We have to change it. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys this free space detector. Let me just find where that is. Source is under components. Nope. It is under utils and dispatcher. Okay, well, I know game is using it. So where's game getting it from? Game is getting it from, okay, I guess under game. Where's game? Game. Free space detector. So I guess it's a scene too. That's interesting. Oh yeah, because it moves itself to find a free space. So yeah, the free space detector will, it's an area 2D with a collision shape that it resizes based on what you give it. So you say start detecting, you give it a rect 2D for the space that you want to detect. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, rect 2D because it's the area, and then the dimensions in a vector too. And then it will make its shape match those dimensions, and it will randomly try a position on the map. Try next position, just randomly picks a position within the area, and then it waits for physics process to run once, or I guess a configurable number of frames. We have a wait frames. I think by default I just have it wait 1 frame though. Where does wait frames get its default? Yeah, wait frames gets 1. So we just have it wait 1 frame, and then it checks if there's overlapping bodies, and then if there are, it tries the next position. So the reason we have to do that where it's waiting frames is because the Godot physics engine will not actually update the information about which things are colliding until the next physics frame, until the end of physics process. So if we move it, we can't move it and then say, hey, is it colliding with anything now? We have to move it, wait a frame, and then check. Our physics engine does not have that restriction. We can tell it, we can say, hey, physics engine, update the position in the physics engine and tell me what's colliding. So we will rewrite this using our stuff, which should be pretty good. Ricardo says, makes sense. I wonder if you could do a configuration warning if a fixed node in a scene has a parent which is not fixed. I thought about that. I really did. The thing is, I don't know that a configuration warning would be the best way to do it. So like in this case, it would actually not have detected the problem because the drop crate spawn area is an independent scene, and we never see here the drop crate being a child. It's only a child at runtime. So along the same lines, we could have like an error or a warning that's printed out, like, in the debugger here under errors, it has all of these errors. We could print out one of those. But the rules on that too, I'm not entirely sure on. Like, so this would be really useful. I agree this would be really useful because I have made this mistake 2 or 3 times now. And if I'm making the mistake, people using the physics engine later will definitely make the mistake too. I guess I just don't know the right way to expose the problem. So getting back to that train of thought, like how to expose the problem, we could put a warning, but it isn't just that it has a parent that's not a fixed node 2D, because it will always have somewhere in the hierarchy a parent that's not a fixed node 2D, because your scene will probably be a node 2D that will have fixed node 2Ds in it. And if your scene isn't, like your top level scene, the next, the root of the scene tree is just going to be a plain node. Like I think we can't make it a problem to just have a parent that's not a fixed node 2D. It'd have to be a parent that's not a fixed node 2D that's moved to a new location. Like that is the thing that's problem. But then when do we check? Are we going to check every single frame? Do you have a parent that's not a fixed node 2D, and does it have a position that's not 0, 0? And that also seems not very useful, because it'll then just like spam the warnings list that like, this thing that shouldn't be happening is happening. But how do we not have it check every frame, right? Because it could start out at 0, 0 and then move, and then once it's moved, like, now we have a problem. So I 100% agree that it would be great to somehow let users know that that's bad and happening. I just don't know how. I just don't know how to let them know, right? So if anyone has any ideas, like, I would really, really love to hear them. Gauntlet says, what do you do if you had a few hundred in chat? Wouldn't that cover the screen? Yes, it would. But and you guys gotta let me know, like, is the characters floating over the screen even with this many characters? Is that annoying already? Because like one person one time said it was annoying, but I'd like to get more of a survey on that to see if it's annoying for a wide group of people, because it is unlike we can come up with something better, like a different way to put the characters. We built this overlay on stream. This overlay is built in Godot. So we can change it to work any way we want, and the way that it works now is just kind of like a result of like what we had time to do on stream. But yeah, I mean, if 100 people came on, I'd turn the overlay off or something, and then I'd have to come up with a new way for it to work. The Clean, welcome the Clean, hello. Gauntlet says it's not annoying, it's interesting. Awesome, cool. I'm glad that you like it. Okay, so where did I leave off? We were doing the free space detector and the drop crate spawn area. Where do we start here? I think the simplest thing to do would be, for the time being, to just get rid of the free space detector, like just not use it. Like, I guess, yeah. We will just spawn the object like at the center. And then after we've got it spawning and colliding, we can circle back and start working on making the free space detector work with our physics engine, which should be cool. I'm actually looking forward to working on that. Okay, so do spawn drop crate. It creates them. We cannot set global position. We have to set one of the fixed positions. So fixed position. Yeah, let's just not set it. Let's just not set it. That'll drop it right in the center, because the default fixed position is 0. 0, 0, because it's vector. So this is still incorrect, but I want it to work enough that we can know if we were right about the reason that it wasn't colliding correctly, that it needed to have a parent that was also a fixed node 2D. Oh, and that also means we need to, hang on. We're not ready to start this. We need to open the maps, because if you guys remember from last time when we converted all the maps, we had to open them and save them for them to convert the positions from floating point to fixed point. So let me open up all of the maps now that we've made the drop crate spawn areas be using our fixed point physics stuff. Ooh, I hit a breakpoint. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so another thing that I worked on over the last week that I didn't talk about was I found more edge cases where normalize didn't work because our fixed point numbers kind of like squish the amount of space that we have available to do our work. And I added some special cases for like really big numbers that will actually overflow a 64-bit number. That's interesting that we actually hit that breakpoint. So for now, I'm just going to disable this and let it run. We'll see what happens. Wow, I wonder... I wonder which thing in here was generating a number that, or a vector that big. I also, to work on that, I added a little bit of unit testing. By a little bit, I mean like really a little bit. Let me show you. Where is it? Test. This is using GUT, the Godot unit test framework, I guess you would call it, framework. And I made a single unit test for testing vector normalize, or normalized, to make sure that it worked for all of these different sized numbers in the way that I expected with all of those edge cases covered. And if you want to see it run, that is this. Come on. Here it goes. Runs slow with everything in debug mode. So here we go. It ran 18 out of 18 passed from this test normalize in test sgvector2, passing asserts 18. So I really would like to include more unit tests. And actually, I think that would be a great way to test out to the determinism. So normally, and I guess those won't be unit tests either, right? Those would be integration tests, but I'd still use this unit testing framework to do it. But normally, you wouldn't be able to do integration tests of a physics engine because it's non-deterministic. And so you can't expect the values to be the same every time, both because of floating point error and because frequently physics engines use random numbers because it produces more stable results when you're resolving rigid bodies, which we don't have any rigid bodies yet, at least. But because it's completely deterministic, we should be able to make integration tests where we're actually moving shapes around and seeing what they're doing, and it should happen the same way every time because it's deterministic. So I would like to make some more tests using GUT. Anyway. GDQ have a virtual crowd responding to the emotes in the chat. It's on the bottom of the screen and not cover anything. Yeah. There's a lot of really good strategies for putting other stuff on the stream that doesn't involve overlap. I've seen streamers that like frame out the thing, and so the work area is this frame, and so then even like the video that they put of themselves doesn't overlap, and different things. This is kind of a first pass. If enough. Whoa, the clean! You look awesome. You look like a minotaur or something. Wow, you got a really good character. Anyway, if it gets annoying, we'll come up with something. And certainly, let me know your ideas because I'd love to hear what you guys have. I'm sure your ideas are better than mine. All right, so. What were we doing? We were getting the drop crate area going. I changed it to put it at the center. That should be good. Let's actually run it. Let's try it. Whew. How long ago did we have the theory that the problem was it had a parent that wasn't a fixed node 2D? And now we're, here we go. What's happening? Area 2D. Okay. Forgot a conversion piece. We have to say it's an SG area 2D. Try again. And let's see. Ooh, we crashed right away. Var area, start detecting. Vector 2 and object. That is interesting. So something I'm doing with math in here is causing problems now that we are Okay, I'm gonna like comment out everything that deals with the detector, the free space detector. We'll bring it back soon. I think that's a fun thing to work on stream because it's a cool utility. So okay, start detecting. Rather than start detecting, we're just gonna immediately spawn it. We're gonna go straight to do spawn drop crate. Why is it yelling at me? 2 arguments expected. Okay, fine. We'll pass a vector 2 at 0. Pick up path. I guess here we're doing a random number thing, which we won't be able to do. At least not this way for the netcode that we're doing, but we'll stick with it for now because we just want to test this one theory. Let us test this one theory. Contents resource path. Okay. Let me just search for detector and make sure there isn't anything else I didn't comment out. Good. All right. Take 3. Let's make sure that our theory is correct. Ah, we crashed again. What's going on? Ugh. Okay, this area and this extents, we don't need to do any of that. Don't do those things. Start over. Converting existing code, like with a big code base, is really a lot of work. Like, what? We're still not colliding. Okay, let's see if it has any more parents. Let's go look at the map. This is the battlefield map. And the areas, drop crate, spawn area. It does have some parent. Is it objects or is it just like... Okay, let's collapse objects and player start positions. And drop crate spawn area. They are SG area 2Ds. Perhaps there is something else still that's going on. So drop crate spawn area. Now SG area 2Ds. Godot does have this annoying habit of sometimes not saving when nothing has changed. So I'm gonna change this to 0 and back and save it. Let's just try that. Maybe that's what it was. It didn't fully get converted. We can check the TSCN file to make sure that that happened. And then we'll have to start looking at what is the next thing on the list. Why? Okay, I see its collision area because it's underneath the tank's sprite, but it is there. That one is a collision polygon, which we know it works from the test scene. Look at the remote inspector here. Practice, game, map. We have our drop crate spawn area. Which, yep, SG area 2D. It's our SG collision shape 2D. Spawns. Oh, we have the spawns. Okay, spawns. I missed that when we were looking at the drop crate spawn area. Let me get back to the local. Spawns. We missed one. SG fixed node 2D. And let's give that a try. I'm glad that I looked at the remote inspector. Like that was good. Haha, there we go. We are colliding with the drop crate. And it's actually feeling pretty good. Like the way the tank slides up the edges feels nice. So that's real good. Let's see if we can shoot it. Ooh, and we hit some sort of... Oh, we hit a breakpoint because I set a breakpoint there to see if it was happening a little bit back. And it is happening. So let's go see. Oop, we ended up in here. Invalid type and function take damage. Ugh. So this is the dark side of static typing. I try to put types on as much stuff as I can when I'm doing GDScript, and for the most part it's good. I still think it's good. It's good. Put types on as much stuff as you can. But then when you change the type of something, lots of things will break. So let's go to drop crate here. Take damage. Wait a second. Which thing is not invalid type? Take damage in base. Cannot convert argument 3 from object to vector 2. Oh, because it's taking a vector 2 instead of an SG fixed vector 2. And it's going to complain at me because the parent... Because we're overriding this from a parent, right? No, we're not. Okay. So that might be enough changes. So if this had been overriding a parent method, we would have to also go update the parent method's type there, but it looks like it's not. So let's just try this again. Gauntlet, how is the process of publishing the game on Steam? Did you make an installer at all? How do you handle updates? So the process of publishing on Steam was a lot of work. It was really a lot of work, but that's largely because Steam has a lot of requirements and a lot of features. So I talked about this a whole bunch back in like March and April on my devlogs for Retro Tank Party. But Steam has a process where you actually have to submit your game to them, and they're going to play it. They're going to play your game and make sure that it has all of the things that you say it has in it, which is interesting. And they're also going to, in a separate process, review your store page before it can be published and make sure that it matches all of the requirements that they have for store pages. And so those two checks, I submitted my game. They had some problems. I had to make some changes, submit it again. Same with the store page, went back and forth a couple of times. Hey, it works. Woo! But with Steam, you don't need to do an installer. Steam is a wonderful platform for game devs in this regard. It has this system, Steam Pipe, which will take what the game developer gives it and convert it into like a set of patches that gets distributed to the players, and it will only give the players the patches they need. So it's fast and saves space. And from the game developer's perspective, you just have to submit your new build to Steam Pipe, which is kind of complicated. I set up GitLab CI to do it automatically for me. I just have to push the version that I want to publish to Steam to a special Steam branch that'll get exported and built and pushed to Steam Pipe, and then I have to go into the Steam backend and say publish this build that I just sent to live, because it will not automatically publish a build to live. It can automatically publish builds to beta branches, which I also do. But anyway, yeah, I have a bunch of videos regarding Steam with a whole lot more details. I recommend you check them out. All right, so we can shoot the crates. Let me go shoot the other crate. Bam! Ooh, interestingly though, shouldn't the bullet explode? The bullet kept going. Okay, let's... Oh, and we can't pick up the power-ups. Okay, a couple of things here. Let's exit out of here, go back in. I just want to see the this here. The bullet should actually explode, and that should be an easy thing to fix. It should explode when it hits the crate. And let's do that without stopping it, because we can take advantage of this awesome feature of Godot that we can edit things in the editor and they will update in the game live. Save us a little bit of time. So let's see. The base bullet might be the place we need to look here. Okay, so if it has take damage, it calls the take damage function, and then it calls explode fire. So explode fire should have exploded us. Why did it not? Let's go look at explode fire. This does spawn. Oh, it doesn't despawn us. Okay, so explode needs to also despawn. What's happening? Guys, are you still seeing my stuff? My screen just turned off. What in the heck is going on here? Why did my monitor that's on my laptop is still working. My monitor that I'm doing my coding on, that I'm supposed to be streaming to you guys, it's back. Wow. Okay, this is a relatively new monitor. I'm surprised I'm surprised that it had that interesting issue. I hope it doesn't happen again. Oh, you guys were still seeing things. That's weird. Monitor just went black. I pressed the power button a couple of times to try and bring it back. I have a switch over here that switches this monitor between my main Linux machine and my Windows machine under my desk that I use for playing games and Windows testing. Anyway, I'm glad we're still on. The stream didn't crash. Whew. I shouldn't say things like that. I have to touch wood. Or is it knock on wood? I will touch it and knock on it. I think we're covered. Okay. So the explode needs to spawn the explosion and despawn the bullet itself. So let's just drop back in here, and it should work this time. It did not. What? Explode, queue free. Well, okay, let's just try restarting the game. Maybe the live reloading thing isn't working. Maybe I have it turned off. I didn't actually even check. Let me go look. Debug. Explodes route debug. Small. Maybe I have to. I don't know. It usually just works. Whatever. Let's try it now. See if that was a problem with my assumptions about the live updating. Oh, okay. So it's a problem with the assumptions about live updating. All right, because that should explode. It did it this time. It didn't do it this time. Wow, this is an interesting bug. Okay, that time was correct. And this time is not correct. Is it always the second time? We'll shoot this one first. No. What? It's opening the crate. Which means that the take damage function is being called, which means explode fire is happening, so queue free should happen. Huh. Oh, this is interesting too. The spawn manager, we're going to have to stop using position. We're going to have to start using fixed position. Ooh, there's some stuff going on here. Dan Crafty. Hey, Daniel. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming. He's on the founding team of a venture-backed game studio building an ambitious anime-inspired MMO using the Godot Nakama stack. Awesome. I love Nakama, and anyway, I'd love to find some way to work together. Let's chat if you have time. You can send me an email at email that was just posted here. Probably you could have DM'd me your email rather than posting it publicly, but hopefully you have some great spam filtering going. But yeah, I would love to chat. Being venture-backed, doing a Godot game is pretty cool. I don't know how many other projects there are like that. Let me see what you got for your character, Daniel. Since I'm assuming you're new to the stream, oh, you got a sweet character. You got an orc with a jester clothes and like a witch hat. Sweet. It matches your crafty, like a witchcraft. This overlay, this Steam overlay, is also a Godot game. We built it. Ooh, our burring is saying stream crashed? Question mark? Are you guys still hearing me? Seeing me? Let me go take a look. Everything I'm looking at still says I'm on. Might be on your end, Ricardo. Is anyone else seeing me scratched? Crashed? Anyway, yeah, I would love to chat Nakama and Godot with you. I don't know if you've had any communication with the Heroic Labs team, but I have had a number of really great interactions with them over the last 2 years, and I've done some work for them and have some familiarity with their platform. I don't know if you were planning on using the Heroic Cloud for your game or whatever. Anyway. What was the other thing in here? Gauntlet. Oh, very interesting how the pipe works. Thanks for explaining that. Did you have to pay the $100 fee for each submission or just once? You have to pay it for each submission. Each submission is $100. And I think that's because they want to deter like tons and tons of submissions, because they cannot be like the amount of time that they spend reviewing the applications and maintaining, all of this stuff has to cost them way more than $100. The $100, I think, is just some sort of like rate limiting fee. Gauntlet, I'm thoroughly inspecting the title block for issues. Good, good. We need someone on that. Thank you, Gauntlet. Keep up the good work. Yeah, Ricardo, hopefully it's just you. No one else has jumped on to say that it's crashed. But yeah, I don't want to have any more stream crashes. It really sucked those 2 in a row that we had where the stream crashed. Touching and knocking. All right, so I'm the most distractible person on earth. What were we doing? We had spawned the thing. We were trying to figure out why, for some reason, this one was not despawning. Whoa, did the tank just shrink? Guys, did you see that? Did the tank just get tinier? Is this a mini tank? Or am I going crazy? Is that my 3.5 hours of sleep? Or did the tank just shrink? Okay, the tank totally shrank. Okay, so I shoot this one. Ooh, this time it didn't. Why does it sometimes? Yeah, neither time did it do it. Huh. What in the heck is going on? So it successfully opens the crate. That time it did it. That time it spawned the explosion and despawned the... And that time it didn't. This can't be a problem with our collision detection, because it's detecting it enough to spawn the thing. Let's set some breakpoints. Let's start here. Kind of walk through and also take a look in here. There seems to be an excess of errors, which sometimes is a sign that something weird is going on. Although these are all warnings that look to be harmless. I see one. Oh, nope, that's just because we're not running in the Steam version. That's also harmless. All right, let's start with the breakpoints here. Okay, so I'm going to shoot this. It is colliding. We are on has method take damage. And okay, I was thinking about something, that's why I paused there. I'm wondering, like, are we rolling back at a bad moment, and so like the spawn manager is doing something weird? Anyway, let's just step through the code and see what we've got here. So step over. We're now here. We're doing take damage. I'm going to step into, just because well, the step into apparently just didn't work. What was that about? Okay, I guess we'll have to set a breakpoint later if we want to. Or no, I'm confusing step into and step over. Okay, I pressed step over. My fault. And then step into. Explode. Oh, there already is a queue free that the parent is doing. So we don't even need our queue free. Okay, I heard the sound effect fire. I wish I had that window up so I could see what was happening there. Okay, that wasn't helpful at all. Let's come back into here. And try that again. I'm going to need to set a couple more breakpoints. So here it goes. We're here, take damage. I want to put a breakpoint in drop crate, take damage. And I also want to put a breakpoint, let's get back to base bullet, over here with the sync manager, or the sync manager spawn thing here. And let's see what we get. So, step over. I'm going to hit step over, but that will actually step into because I put a breakpoint there. Okay. Open crate, we're going to step into. So now it's going to spawn the twigs at the position, which is probably fine. The twigs are purely cosmetic. You don't need to worry about them existing in fixed point space. We add it to the parent, the crate contents. This is the power up. Gets spawned. Oh, this is interesting. So we can't do this. I don't know if this will cause a problem here, but we do not want to do call deferred because that will break up rollback. We need it to happen exactly on this frame every single time. So add child power up. And let me just delete this whole comment here. That's going to screw up the line numbers in our walking through this in debugger, unfortunately. And then this queue free, this is on the crate, so that should destroy the crate. We're still cruising forward here. Take me somewhere. All right, so we did the take damage. The crate's gone. The power up is there. We go to explode fire, and I'm just going to hit step into, which steps us to the parent class, or I'm sorry, the childist class. This is bullet. If we step into this, we'll go to base bullet, which spawns the explosion. Oh, I guess I see why it does that. Not all bullets explode right when they hit. Like the railgun, for example. It'll hit multiple times, and it will cause an explosion each time it hits, but it won't despawn. And this is interesting too. I wonder if this scale 0.5 is what shrunk the tank. Because the tank just shrunk. It was the weirdest thing. Okay, so we're stepping over here. And then we come over to queue free. And this should get rid of our bullet. So now let's keep stepping over and see where we end up. Back in here, check collision. You know, okay, so this is on base bullet. It has now despawned itself, but it is still animating itself. And it is still calling sync to physics engine. I wonder if that could be problematic in the future too, because is sync to physics engine checking if the object still exists? That is something to look into too. Let's just keep stepping over. I'm just gonna hit continue and see if we get anything else. Okay, I guess we don't know if that worked or not. Ooh, we're back at explode again. That is weird. How do we get to explode again? Lifetime timer. Oh, okay, so if the bullet is around for too long, that will also need to change. For rollback, we can't base things on time. We have to base things on frames. And for that, we can use a different timer. So anyway, that's on base bullet. So many things, so many things. I'm twisting myself in a knot here, guys. Okay, let's get to. So this is base bullet. Does base bullet have a scene? Let's go to bullet and we'll see. So base bullet must have a scene. Okay, lifetime timer. Did we already convert lifetime timer? We did. So lifetime timer is in network timer. So okay, cool. That actually is fine because network timers count frames or ticks, as we're kind of calling them, since multiple ticks can happen on a single frame if we are rolling back, for example. So that could be fine. Once it has exploded, though, it should stop doing that, right? So explode. Let's go to normal bullet. I guess let's tell our lifetime timer to stop once we have exploded. I don't know if that'll help, but let's just keep stepping through this. All right, so I have no idea if that worked or not. Ooh, why am I stuck? I'm like totally frozen. Oh, because we're back to explode again. Jeez. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this breakpoint. Let's just get into the game here. Let's just get into the game. I made a whole ton of changes. Let's start this thing over. I have no idea, because I made like way too many changes at once, like what the effect is going to have. I probably should have slowed down and did one change at a time. Here, while this is starting up, I'll see if anyone's got anything else going on in chat. Did the camera zoom out? Is that in response to the tank getting smaller? I mean, I suppose it's possible that the camera zoomed out, but I really looked like it shrunk. Okay, so I want all these breakpoints gone because I just want to watch it. I just want to watch what happens now that we've made all these changes. Okay, let's see what happens here. That one worked perfect. Let's go to practice. Let's just try it a bunch of times. Maybe it's fixed. No! What on earth could be causing that? Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add that to the to-do. And let's move on to some more interesting things. The reason for that may become apparent later, and we will for sure have it. So I'll put it at the top of milestone 2, which is supposed to be porting all of the things to the new netcode, and we are still on milestone 1, which is the physics engine and converting everything to the physics engine. So this is going to be bug sometimes bullet doesn't explode when hitting drop crate. It just keeps going even though crate opens. All right, that sounds good. Okay. So, the thing we said we were going to do after that, how are we doing on time? Okay, cool. Another half hour. The thing we said we were going to do after that was work on the free space detector to make a new version of the free space detector that worked with our physics engine. I thought the tank looked smaller than the crate. Yes, in response to the tank getting smaller appeared in the viewable area, might have zoomed out. That's a really weird bug. I have no idea what what that could possibly be. Let's put that on the to-do too, just so I don't lose track of it. Sometimes tank appears to shrink, and maybe camera zooms too. Yeah, there's also a possibility that as we go through more and more passes through this and convert more and more things, that some of these bugs will just go away because they could be the result of us half converting some of these things from the old netcode to the new netcode, or the old physics engine to the new physics engine. So, all right, free space detector. So it is an area 2D. So first things first, let's convert this to an SG area 2D. Collision shape 2D needs to be converted to a SG collision shape 2D. All right. And the whole way that this works is going to need to change, because we no longer need to wait frames or anything like that. This thing can just bounce around within a single frame and do its magic. So we don't need signals. In fact, signals are bad. In this context, we want to be in control of when it returns this to us. Although maybe signals aren't bad in that sense, but still, like, we don't need them. We don't need signals because we're going to just be able to return stuff. So free space detector, let's say detect free space. The free space detector will detect free space for you. And we need a detection area, which before we were representing as a rect 2D, a rect 2. We don't have an equivalent for a rect 2 from our physics engine exposed to Godot. I wish we could do rect 2i. That would be perfect, but that only exists in Godot 4. So here's what we'll do. We'll take some integers to describe our rectangle. So this will be, how are rectangles usually described? They're usually described as a position and some dimensions. How do we use them? Okay, maybe we'll take them as a position and some dimensions. But I don't like passing around too many SG fixed vector 2s because they're heavier than I'd like them to be. So this will be position, or yeah, I guess we'll say position extents sg fixed vector 2, and these are such confusing names. So this will be we'll say area position, area extents, and then this will be dimensions of the free space that we want to find. So sg fixed vector 2, and we want it to return to us another sg fixed vector 2, which is the position that we're going to place this thing. So we're going to start the same way as this, but a little bit differently. We need to get the half dimensions, which we will do. We'll get the dimensions and do, I think we made a method called divf, which will divide by a fixed point number, and it's going to be this times 2. And we need to create a new shape. This will be an SG rectangle shape. It will get the half extents. This will set shape. That all looks good. Detection area. Okay, so say, well, I guess we'll. Do we need to keep this around? I don't think we do. I think we can get rid of this. Detecting, we don't need that. Wait frames, we don't need that. Ooh, this needs to be changed to an SG area 2D. So I don't think we need to do this. We just need to loop. Yeah, we can do this all in one method, I think. So how are we going to handle randomness? We need determinism. There's a couple of ways to handle randomness. We can share a seed and use that to generate the same number on all clients. I don't particularly like that idea. That seems really tricky to get right. Like, we'd have to make sure that we always are asking for the same number of random numbers, because what if we have like some branch somewhere that means that this client asks for one more random number than the others, and so then even though they're on the same seed, they're at a different place in kind of the sequence of random numbers that comes from that seed. Although that would be by far the fastest way to do it. Another way is to have at the start of the match, we generate the list of what all the power-ups that are going to be generated are, and then they all share it. I'm inclined to punt on this for now. Put it to do, that's going to be like, figure out how to make spawn or randomness deterministic. Or yeah, because we're just talking about the position at this point, not the contents. Okay, well, we'll get there. So fixed global position. Oh, we didn't make a property for that. We only made a method for that. And do we really need to do global? Yes, yes we do. So set fixed global position. And it is going to be the area position. Oh, and this is going to want to take an SG fixed vector 2, which, hang on, we have a factory method for this, SG fixed vector 2. And we want it to do the area position. Oh my god, area position x plus Hey, this is starting from the top left corner. Probably because rect2s do. So this isn't really extents, is it? As always, the hardest thing in programming is the naming. We have to name these things right so we don't confuse each other, ourselves and each other. Okay, so okay, let's do this differently. We'll say area min and area max. So what that will be is the top left corner and the bottom right corner. And that makes it easy for us because we'll say area min x plus, we're still going to do random integer modulo int area max dot x. And that is just the x value. Let's kind of jump up here, separate that out so we can do these in a hopefully readable way. Rand I modulo int area max dot y. Okay, and okay, so that should move to a new random position, and then we need to detect if there are any overlapping bodies or areas. That's interesting. I don't know why the areas seems wrong. So if we're using this to place a drop crate within the drop crate area, like it's going to have an overlapping area. The clean. Why not naming them top left corner and bottom right corner? Perfect idea. I didn't name them that way, but that's basically how I'm using them. You can define when signal is processed when connecting them. Yeah, I think we probably could make the signal work. Oh, I missed the gauntlets message. It's not a bug, it's a feature. I agree. You know, when I was a kid, playing Commodore 64 games or NES games or whatever, like the weird things that the games did was like kind of magical. Like it was like I don't know, this like hidden world full of Easter eggs and secrets, and so all of those bugs were good. They were all good. Okay, so I don't know about this areas. I'm gonna leave that out in rewriting this, at least for now. So if get overlapping bodies, apologize for the yawn. Size is greater than 0, then we do it again. Or we'll say if it equals 0, then we will break, because I'm going to put this in a loop. While true. And we should exit this with our global fixed position being what we want it to be. So get global fixed position. What did I do wrong here? Too many parentheses? Array mix, area mix, min. Yeah, I probably should. Like your idea, the clean, naming them top left and bottom right is probably the clearest way. I will name them that way. Let's do it. That's a great suggestion. So area top left, area bottom right. Then we just got to rename that one here. Area top left. These are both top left. Area bottom right. All right. So assuming this works, we were able to take this relatively like long and kind of mysterious class and turn it into, I mean, not really long, right? But, you know, it was 50 lines and now we're 18 lines, right? And it was mysterious only insofar as we were doing things the way we were doing them because of how the Godot physics engine worked. And this should be easier. Although I see that I missed a step. So we need to call sync to physics engine. So, okay, so we're creating the shape. We are setting a new position. We are syncing to the physics engine, which should make sure that this shape and area are updated within the physics engine, because there is this separation between the physics engine and its state and Godot and its nodes and stuff, which is a very common separation. Most game engines do that, where the physics engine has its like own version of the physics world that's synced back and forth with the representation of the game world. And we do that by calling sync to physics engine here, and then get overlapping bodies. That should be good. I think that should be good. What layers are we on? Like, okay, yeah, we've masked all of the layers. We don't want to spawn inside of bullets. That's probably why the get overlapping areas is on there. Okay. I said earlier I was going to take out the get overlapping areas, but we're gonna keep it. If equals 0 and get overlapping areas size equals 0. Okay. So now that we've updated the free space detector, we're gonna go back to the drop crate spawn area and start using it again. So we create a new detector, which I guess probably doesn't even need to be its own like thing we create. It could be some kind of singleton or something, but whatever. We're going to keep it that way for now. And we don't need to free it, do we? I guess we do, because it's a child of game somewhere. Okay, so detector q free. Or I'll do if detector, because things that we create is always a little sketchy. Let me go look at how game does this. I just want to see like how its life cycle is, because we were taking responsibility for freeing it here. Okay, yeah, so it's adding itself to a child of game, which means it will exist until the game scene is destroyed. So we do want to clear it out earlier. We want to clear it out when the map is done. Where's drop crate spawn area again? So yeah, when the map starts, we create the detector. When the map stops, we stop the detector. This is network master thing must be how we're dealing with the randomness in the old netcode. I'm going to keep that for now. And then we do, here's where we're actually going to use it. So, yeah, there's definitely a determinism problem with the randomness here, which we'll deal with. We'll deal with at some point. We're not worried about the network so much right now as just getting the game working. So I'm going to push that out of my head. Push it out of my head. Focus. We'll accomplish one thing at a time. So the detector needs to start detecting. Where's area? What is area? Area is, okay, so area is, okay. Okay, so we're getting the extents of the shape. Area cannot be rect2 anymore. Do area top left equals, we'll say fixed, get fixed. Okay, I guess we're gonna need to global position. So okay, fixed global position. We're gonna need to stash this somewhere. Get fixed global position. Okay, no, yeah. So this is the area top left. right? No, because this is in the middle. So area top left will be fixed global position sub extents and bottom right. Ooh, there's people saying things. Hopefully it's not that everything has crashed. Is the detector separate scene? Yes, it is a separate scene. Its type is a SG Area 2D. What character did the spammer get? Oh, the spammer got a cool character. It looks like, I'm imagining that character is a blacksmith. He's got the white beard and what looks kind of like worker overalls. Stupid spammer getting a cool character. Okay, so, and crate size now needs to be defined not as a vector 2, and I don't think it can be a constant anymore, can it? Unless we do that as integers. We'll do crate size width, and that is 65,536 times 60. I forget who taught us this, but wasn't it Shift or Control Shift E? Yay! I don't forget if that was the Clean or Aknakos or who came up, or not came up with, but informed everyone on the stream that you can type in math things and then Control Shift E and have Godot evaluate them for you. No, I don't want it to be if it's a constant. We still have to create the object. We don't want to create the object every time. Or no, we can create them. No, we don't want to create the object every time. I'm just going back and forth here. Can I just say var crate size? It can't be a constant, but we can do sg fixed vector 2 with 65,536 times 60. Control Shift E. I'll just copy and paste that. And I'm going to put a little note here that says that is 60. Okay. So we can now say like crate position equals detector. Detect free space area top left area bottom right, and then we are passing in the crate size. Detector isn't declared in the current. Oh, detector. Yes. And then here, rather than passing in 0, we're going to pass in crate position, and we have to change this up to take an SG fixed vector 2, and we're going to set global fixed position. I think that's all the code. I mean, it's probably not going to work. Not on the first try, at least. But I think that's all the code. Let me get rid of this detector I typed in here for no reason. And let's give this a shot. The clean says, not me, it was Aknakos. Oh, okay, Aknakos got that. I believe I've only used get overlapping bodies and not get overlapping areas yet. Yeah, so those methods are actually our versions from the custom physics engine that we've been building, but Godot has the same methods that do the same thing. Okay, so we can see it spawned it in a place. Whoa! Okay. It spawned it in a wrong place. Look, I'm crashing into it in the center, but it's not there. So we have some problems in our math. I'm just kind of looking around to see where the other crate is. So this one, the visual is here, but I don't know where the actual, or is it here? Okay, so this crate is physically here, and I shot it in where its physical location was, but its visual location was there. Okay. So let's see where we went wrong here. How much time do we have? We have 5 minutes. Okay, let's see if we can fix this in 5 minutes. And then, you know, I'll keep working on this between now and next week and share with you the next stuff. But it'd be great to get a conclusion to this before we stop the stream today. All right. So I think there is a possibility that our set global fixed position has a bug in it. But the place I'm going to start is, I think, in our detector. Well, let's start actually with okay, let's make sure that this is correct, that what happens here, that what we're passing into the detector is correct. Also, okay, so set global fixed position. After we do that, we need to do create sync to physics engine. That could actually be the whole thing. I mean, definitely it seems like things are appearing in the wrong place because we only saw one crate. So wherever the second crate was, we couldn't see it. I guess I could have looked in the remote scene tree and seen where it was. Wow, it appeared exactly here again. Okay, cool. So it is here. And we can shoot it there. Where's the other crate? And that position is totally valid for that particular drop area. But let's go into the remote scene tree here. Free space detector. So we have 2 free space detectors. All right, so there would be 2 for each of the drop crate spawn areas. Okay, they both spawned crates. The first one is the one we destroyed, which that was in a good spot. That was a good spot for that crate. It was within the area. The second crate spawned somewhere weird. Wow. Okay, with this negative y. Okay, well, okay. So the position, the y could be negative because remember the drop crate spawn area, its origin is in the middle, and so things will exist kind of around it. But where the heck is it? Like, why don't we see it? Drop crate. This X seems excessively large. Look at how big that X is. Let's just drive to the right. See if we find it somewhere over here. Let's move it over. See if we can bring it into view. We'll set the X to, let's say, half this. Divide by, or okay, I can't mess with that position. I have to mess with the fixed position. I'll divide it by 2. And let's take a look. Okay, so for some reason the X was just huge. And of course we were running right over it because I wasn't able to sync the physics position while moving it in the remote inspector. So for some reason, this first one's generating good and the other one's generating bad. So there must be something wrong in the way we're doing our random numbers. You can override camera position from the editor. Yeah. The thing is, every time the tank moves, the tank is going to change it. Unless you have a way around that, a way to change the camera position from the editor. Yeah, I'm very curious if you have a cool way to do that, because that'd be really cool. I know Unity has the debug camera, and that Godot does not have a debug camera, and I would love to have a debug camera. Let's see quickly if we can fix what's going on with the free space detector here. Free space detector. Okay. So we generated like a really big X value. Oh, okay, so this is wrong. We don't want the bottom right here. We want like a, not an extents, but a dimensions. So let's do var area dimensions equals area bottom right sub area top left. So we are passing in that, but what we actually want is an area dimensions, which I don't know if it might be easier from the outside to pass in a dimensions, and if it is, like, maybe we should change the signature of this method. On the toolbar, there is a camera icon in the 2D 3D mode. I am very curious about this. Okay, so there on the toolbar there is a, so I go to 2D camera. So I've clicked camera, overrides the game camera with editor viewport camera. What? So editor viewport camera meaning like this? Like I just... Oh, that is interesting. I wish I had like a live view of what was going on here. You have blown my mind. You have blown my mind, the Clean. Wow. There's too many features of Godot. There's too many features of Godot. I had no idea that was even a thing. Wow, thank you. Thank you, the Clean. For perhaps the second time in a row, you may have won the stream. There's not really a way to win the stream, but it's fun to say that. Okay, so, ooh, what did I do? Division by 0. Area dimensions somehow ended up being 0. How did that happen? Area bottom right, sub, area top left. I don't see how that could happen unless they're identical. Okay, let's set a breakpoint. Let's see what happens. Ooh, we're 1 minute over. I think we can do it though, guys. I think we can do this. Okay, so spawn something. Breakpoint, hit. All right, so what have we got? We've got area top left, area bottom right. They are literally identical. Okay. Let's go back to where this is being called. And see how they ended up being identical. Drop crate spawn area. Bottom right, fixed position sub. Oh, I put sub and I meant to put add. Okay, and actually, like, maybe we should take area top left and area dimensions just as a thing, because we have to calculate it here anyway. But whatever. We're getting this done. We're solving something for today. Before the stream is over, we shall do it. I believe in us. Okay, let's get out here. Oop, it's still got that breakpoint. But let's just continue. I'm just gonna get rid of this breakpoint and continue. Okay, so that one appeared there, and that one appeared there. They're actually in their correct spots because I can crash into them. I can shoot them with that weird bug where it sometimes doesn't explode, which happened both times there. It's also interesting, the that physics shape is still there, even though the drop crate is gone. I wonder how that is. I'll have to look into that too. Woof. All right, guys, let's make a git commit. Let's make a git commit. And we didn't get too much done today, but we did get some things done. Wow, we changed a lot of files. Let's look at our diff here. So some updates to the test area. Oh, because we added the drop crate there to just see it. We updated the maps with the new, now that drop crate is converted. We updated the free space detector to be much more simple and just work, which is great. There's a bunch of other places in the code that use the free space detector that will need to be changed, and we still need to solve the problem with randomness in the free space detector. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ricardo. The spawn timer is still 2 seconds. I didn't see it as I was going through, but thank you for reminding me. Whew. good to do things on stream. Teamwork, guys. So that was in the drop crate spawn area, which I need the scene, not the drop crate spawn area. Okay, and the drop timer went to 2 instead of 20. Also, this drop timer is going to need to change. It can't be a time timer. It'll have to be a network timer, a frame timer, but we'll get around to that. I may have to do just like search for timers in the code. I'm gonna put something in the to do about that. I'm gonna put like search for timers in the game and make sure they are switched to network timer. Okay. So let's get back to looking at our diff here. Thanks again, Ricardo. Yeah, we stopped that timer. We needed to do that. Got rid of that deferred call. We added a polygon to the drop crate. All right, so I think I'm gonna commit this and say, got drop crates working more or less. So we did not get onto power-ups and weapons and stuff, but we did get some things done. I feel good about that. So let me just push this to GitLab. So once again, thanks so much everyone for coming to the stream. This is a good stream. I'm sorry for being a little bit out of it. I did not get a lot of sleep because I spent way too much time working on physics into the wee hours. But you know, I'm excited about what's coming next with this project. I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel as far as physics is concerned. I have to finish raycasts and I have to implement a broad phase. And that is all of the major features that the physics engine needs. I'm sure there will be bugs to fix. I'm sure there will be teeny tiny little things like maybe I need to have an extra property here or there or return some extra bit of data from the physics engine. But like we are almost done. And the game, like, I think, you know, I don't know because we haven't converted all of it, but we've converted enough of it that I don't think we need to make up any new major tools in the game to convert it to the new netcode. I think it's just a matter of taking all of the things we built before, like the spawn manager and, you know, the network sync manager and all of those different pieces and just integrate it into all the things. And yeah, that bug we found with the bullet not exploding is mysterious, like super mysterious, but it's on the list. Anyway, yeah. Thanks so much, guys. It was a great stream. Hope to see you again next week, and take care.